You all loved the crazy action last time we were at Bobby's poker game, so of course I had to come back for round 2. Bobby lives out in Fort Worth and hosts a private 2, 5, 10 Texas Hold'em game here in his nifty garage. It's the perfect setting for some late night poker, has a ton of character, and definitely is something you'd envision when you think of a garage out in rural Texas. This time I brought my editor Lucas and friend Andrew to hop in on the fun as well, and I'm sure they're glad they came because you all are about to witness some of the craziest poker hands of the year. With one mystery hand, I make a pretty crazy decision to check the river after hitting a full house, and in another hand, everyone boards the train for a one-way ticket to All-Insville. But before we get there, we have to jump into our first hand of the night. I look down at Queen 10 of diamonds from the big blind, and I raise it up to $40 over 2 limpers. Both players put in the call, and the button straddler does as well. That means we're going 3 ways to the flop out of position, which comes 10-6-6 rainbow. Flopping top pair is pretty good. We're either going to be way ahead or way behind. I start with the check, and the action checks through, bringing in the 3 of diamonds on the turn. I think now we need to get value from all those random pocket pairs. I fire out for $75, and we're only going to pick up 1 caller on the button. That is Jacob, and we're heads up to the river. River's an interesting card. It brings in the 3rd 6. It's the 6 of spades, now giving me a boat. I think against pocket 9s, 8s, and 7s, a $75 bet is going to do the trick. I fire out small for value. He snap calls, we turn over our hand. It looks like we needed that river because he got counterfeited with pocket 3s. He turned a boat and rivered a worse one. I'm taking on this $462 pot in the grossest way possible, to be honest. Poker's so fun.
Yes. So great.
We then get blessed by the poker gods with pocket kings from under the gun. The $10 button straddles on, and I raise it up to $40. We end up getting 3 callers, which means we're going 4 ways to the flop here with the second best hand ever created, and a queen 8-6 board with 2 diamonds is just what the doctor ordered. When you're multi-way and out of position against a lot of opponents, it's usually smart to check. However, with a very strong hand like pocket kings, also having the king of diamonds is important because I can back into some flushes. So I decided to bet out for $85, and if we're playing with fire here, we're gonna find out. But we're just gonna get called in one spot, that's Jacob, and somehow, someway, we find ourselves in position here on the turn, which comes the 8 of clubs. Gonna bet out again here for $110, this time targeting any of his Queen X and Diamond flush draws.
Yeah, that just made the clip.
Andrew sings a little bit of Green Day from across the table, and apparently Jacob does not like that. He folds his cards, but taking down a $457 pot is our consolation prize, and we're definitely happy about that. Right, King 10 offsuit now from the button. Let's see how we play this one. The player on my right, aka Rod, opens it up to $20, and I decide to call. Now you might be asking yourself, why am I calling here instead of 3-betting? Usually I want to play a 3-bet or a fold strategy, but that goes out the window when we're playing in these home games. You kind of just want to get in the mix, VPIP, have some fun, take some shots, and call with hands that you normally would 3-bet, allowing more people to come in and have fun as well. That's exactly what happens if few other players decide they want to see the flop for $20, and that means we're off to a flop which comes King 8-7 with 2 spades. Rob bets out for $30, and having flopped top pair, I'm going nowhere, put in the call, we're heads up to the turn. Turn comes the deuce of hearts, and Rod cuts out some chips before realizing he wants to go all in for $250, making my life miserable. I was gonna call a small bet, but now a jam, what do I do? This is the problem with not 3-betting or folding pre-flop. I mean, I just don't know where I'm at. Does he have a hand like King, Queen, King, Jack? Or does he just have a flush draw like 9-10 of spades, Ace-5 of spades? I don't know. King 10 offsuit, kind of a suspect hand. I decided in this moment to let it go, which was the right decision because he shows 7 deuce of diamonds, turning to pair. He makes a strong hand, but 7 deuce gets the bounty, $25 from every player.
I just want everyone to know that I don't drink.
With the 7 deuce bounty in full effect, you can definitely get the vibe that this is gonna be a fun night. Everyone's still giving me a bunch of shit because of that one outro where I took a fireball shot and then my eyes teared up. Whoa, I'm crying right now. This is kind of an embarrassing look. So of course, a tribute to that, we all take shots of Fireball straight from the bottle.
I'm not proud because of Fireball.
Bobby decides to needle me one more time, and we look down at ace deuce of hearts from the hijack. I limp, we're gonna go multi-way to a flop, which comes ace queen six with 2 clubs. Having flop top pair, I lead out for $15, and Sven in under the gun puts in the call. Off the turn we go, which gives me 2 pair on the deuce of spades. And this time Sven takes up the betting lead and fires out for $75. I'm not going anywhere, but could I be raising? Absolutely. But given the fact I just took a fireball shot, my senses are off. I just put in the call. I think a raise is definitely the better move, given the fact there is the front door club draw, but that's not what I do. I call, and the river comes the 8 of hearts. What's Sven gonna do on this river? Well, he blasts off for $150. If he has me beat, so be it. I beat him into the pot with a snap call, and he turns over a busted king high flush draw. No good, Sven. No good. It's possible Sven bluffed in that last hand with a little bit of liquid courage in his veins. I don't need any courage to play pocket kings from under the gun. I raise it up to $40 over a $10 button straddle and 2 callers. The flop comes 6-6-3 rainbow, and I decide to check. Bobby checks it over to Sven, who bets out for $75. Did I check to go for the old check raise? Nope, I'm deciding just to put in the call here, and Bobby does as well. Not too many draws, sure, Bobby could have a hand like 4-5 suited, ace 4, ace deuce of clubs, diamonds, or hearts, but I think a raise is just too much. If someone has a 6, we're gonna lose the maximum, so I just call, bringing in the turn, which comes the 4 of hearts. Not exactly the best card, but also not the worst one. I still have 2 pair. Action checks over to Sven once again, who fires out for $150, looking straight off into the abyss. Now this is the decision point. Both of the opponents are not too deep. If someone has a worse hand like 7s, 8s, 9s, I want to get the money in. Likewise, if they have some sort of a draw, like a backdoor heart draw that comes in, I want to get the maximum as well. So I do my old signature choo-choo train and pile a bunch of green chips in the middle, conducted by Mudkip on the top of the stack.
What do you guys have? I'm behind here.
Bobby's great for content, and he matches my train with a call for $400. Actions over to Sven. Is he gonna put in the call? No, he folds his cards. That means we're heads up with old Bobby here, aka the ringleader, in his own garage. He turns over 7-6 of clubs. What a flop for Bobby against my pocket kings. He's nice enough to let us run it 2 times, but it's no matter. The first board comes the 8 of clubs. The second one gives him quads. Quad 6s on that one, and $1,300 going over to Bobby. Nice hand. Right, the poker gods are playing with me now after losing with pocket kings. They downgrade me to the jiggities, the jokers, the yannies. I'm in the big blind here, and the $10 button straddle is on. Bobby raises it up to $30 from the hijack, and Sven in the cutoff jams for $130 more. Actions over to me. I probably should be raising, isolating Sven, but that's not what I do. I just put in the call. Can't be the worst play in the world because calling a jam is always strong. Bobby could fold a hand here like 7s, 8s, maybe a hand like ace 10 suited. That's not what he does though. He puts in the call, and we are going 3 ways to the flop.
You could triple up here.
On a queen 9-5 board with 2 clubs, we flop ourselves second pair, backdoor straight, and flush ideas. The turn goes check-check with the third person already all in, and on the 3 of spades turn, I decide to fire out for $100. The logic is here, if Bobby has a hand like ace-king, I want to get value from that and not allow him to have a free card. Also, if he has a hand like pocket 10s, he probably has to call one time. And there's a lot of flush draws out there as well, like ace 5 of clubs, 6-7 of clubs, stuff like that. So I fire out for $100, and Bobby puts in the smooth call. The river card isn't great. It comes the 4 of clubs. However, having the jack of clubs in my hand blocks a few of his club flush draws. So I fire out for $75 small. It's a multi-purpose bet here. It's betting small so that way I can get away from a raise, but also it's betting small to get value. Is Bobby gonna call us? Yes, he does. That's exactly what happens. I bet 75, he snap calls, and we are going to win versus an ace high hand and a pair of 9s from Bobby.
Oh, what a bummer, what a bummer, what a...
$750 coming over my way, and I think we made the maximum in that one. As things got crazier and the alcohol kept flowing, we decided to do some gambling and place some side bets. I'm gonna do a side bet here with the first brother, Joey. It's $100 who has the best hand. I end up winning that one, and I quickly Venmo myself from his phone $100. And then I take on the second brother, Jacob, who wants to avenge the family tree here and take me down. But of course, I had to get the old slow roll in there with 2 pair against his pocket 3s, and we take down both brothers.
Have a pair, dude.
Have a pair of nuts, would you? Are there any more brothers? Bring out the brothers.
Having made a quick $200 in those 2 flips, I look down at Queen Jack of Spades from the big blind. Bobby in the low jack makes it $40 over a $10 button. Sven in the hijack puts in the call, I call, and the button calls as well. We're going 4 ways to the flop here, which gives me top pair on a Queen 5 deuce board with 2 clubs. Action checks over to Bobby, who bets out for 85 smackaroonies. Will the action get over to me? Not before Sven puts in the call. We're going 3 ways to the turn. Turn gives me 3 of a kind. It comes the Queen of Hearts. We're either way ahead here or way behind. Once again, I start with a check, and the action unfortunately gets checked around. That's not good news because the front door club draw is still there. We definitely don't want to see a club on the river, but sure enough, the river comes the Jack of Hearts. Bang, we river a boat. Not only is it not a club, it gives us the best possible hand. No one can have pocket queens. Jacks are inferior to my queen jack suited. Hoping someone here has a hand like king queen or ace queen, maybe pocket 5s or pocket deuces would be amazing for me. Now the turn was checked through, so you could make the argument that I should lead here, try to get value versus some random pocket pairs like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, maybe a hand like ace jack of clubs, ace jack of diamonds would probably call me, but I think it's more likely that I'll make a lot of money if I start with a check. The reasoning is all those club draws are probably going to fire. They're definitely not going to call a bet, but they could bluff themselves. Also, if someone has a hand like king queen or ace queen, they're definitely not checking through. So I think a check raise here is way more potent than firing out myself. There is a bit of a gamble in this though, because if I check and it checks through, I'm only making the minimum. But after Joey flicks Mudkip over, I have to protect him by putting him on top of my stack. I check it over to Bobby. Unfortunately, Bobby checks. We're down to Sven. He's the only person who can put more money in the middle, and he does. He takes a sip of beer and fires out for $200. That is music to my ears. I assemble a large raise here. I want to make it look a little bit bluffy, like I have ace king of clubs, ace 4, ace 3 of clubs. I raise it up to $700 to go. Bobby makes a quick fold, and it looks like the bluff is up. Sven folds his cards as well. And it looks like we made the maximum in that one. I turn over my jack, letting them know I had the best hand. And yeah, there's some funny commentary after this hand.
John Jacob Jingle Schmidt, la 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 la. John Jacob Jingle Schmidt, the famous money. Who invited this guy?
All right, congrats. You guys have made it to the last hand of the night. Be sure to hit that like button. And what are you guys doing? 82.8% of you guys are not subscribed to this channel. Hit that subscribe button real quickly. I really appreciate it, and it helps out the channel a ton. Queen 10 of spades now from the big blind. The $10 button is on per usual. The player on my right calls, and I raise it up to $40. Player on my right and the button put in the call. That means we're going 3 ways to the flop here, which comes pretty good for us. King Jack 5 with 2 diamonds. Small blind Joey leads out for $50. I call, and the button does as well. The turn card is a double-edged sword. It gives me the king high straight, but it also brings in the front door diamond draw, and Joey now fires out for $50. I'm gonna raise here, and the logic is if he has a 1 or 2 pair type of hand, I don't think he can fold. Also, I want to protect against another diamond coming. That is the player on the button I'm really scared about. I don't want him to get there with the queen of diamonds, ace of diamonds, something like that. So I make it $150 to go. He pretty much can only call here with like sets and then the ace high diamond draw. He folds his cards, and Joey rips it all in for around $250. Obviously, I snap call with the king high straight. He turns over king 6 with the 6 of diamonds. Top pair is no good in the moment, sir, but the river comes the 10 of diamonds. Where did that card come from? Now his 6 of diamonds kicker has me out kicked. A $770 pot going over Joey's way, and nobody at the table can believe his luck. With that last hand in the books, it's unfortunate we lost the last hand of the night, but it was a crazy fun experience. We ended up taking some fireball shots, won $200 on those flips with Joey and Jacob, the two brothers. Ended up getting out for $2,024, so a net profit of $1,024 in 6 hours. Thanks for the invite, Bobby. Your friends are always great hosts. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and if you like my videos, there's a few more on your screen. Click one of those to keep watching, and I'll catch you in the next one as always. Peace!